What's up, guys? Blake from Top Dog Digital. Today, let's talk about email campaigns and text campaigns, the difference between the two, why they're useful, why you should be doing them, and which one is best for you, or whether both are best for you and your business. And it's really going to depend on how you want to structure things. So, start with email. Email campaigns pretty common, right? Just about everybody is familiar with how email campaigns work, where you have a list, you send out some emails, and whether it's just bringing awareness, whether it's giving them a call to action with an offer, there's all sorts of different email campaigns. I think at this point, everybody who's watching this video is aware of them, all right? Then you have text campaigns, which text blasts are sort of new, right? They're starting to pick up steam. You're seeing a lot more businesses, especially like major businesses, start to use text campaigns. A lot of the phone providers, such as like T-Mobile and Sprint and so on and so forth, they're actually starting to pick up on it as well and making it a little bit more challenging for people to do text campaigns because they're noticing that trend. We've had to fill out a lot of paperwork and do a lot of things just to be qualified in order to send and not get hit with fees by some of those carriers. So they're seeing the trend, obviously, by them setting some of that up. And text campaigns is, there's some of you who are familiar with them, some of you who are not. So I'm going to break down the two, their usefulness, and what you can expect between both of them and what the differences are. All right. With email's disadvantage is that more than likely it's not going to get seen. Just being honest, with email campaigns, everybody here who's watching right now has an email. For the most part, you probably miss a lot of your emails. I doubt you open up and read every single email that you get. If you do, you're one of the few and far between. I know me personally, I do not. So with email, the open rate is typically about 15%, which means that if you were sending an email out to your customers today and you sent out 100 emails, only about 15 of those emails are going to get open and read. All right, that's a pretty low amount. So that's a disadvantage to email. An advantage, however, to email is that it's a lot less direct. So you can get away with sending more emails more consistently. So it is not uncommon for a business to send out an email once a week or an email once every few days, or even some are sending out an email every single day. And what they're looking to accomplish is they're just trying to get in front of people as often as possible and drive that awareness or whatever their call to action is on the email, okay? And that is effective. It has some power. Keep in mind, if you're looking to get in front of them and you have a call to action, email might not be your best route because of the open rates, but the advantage is you can send a lot of different emails, and basically, at that point, if you're sending a lot of traffic, eventually that person probably is going to open it and see it, unless it's going into their spam folder, which is a whole nother problem that I probably won't dive into today on emails. With text, the advantage is the open rates, right? So somebody gets a text, it is very, very likely for them to open it up and see it. Open rates are about 95 to 97% for text message. So if I send 100 texts to my customer list, that means that pretty much 95 to 97 or all 100 of those people are going to open up that message. That is really important, guys, because if you are sending out an offer for previous customers with a call to action, text is going to be a lot more powerful because it's going to get seen and they're going to be able to take action on it. All right? So that sounds great. What's the disadvantage? Disadvantage is it is very direct. So some people are not really up to date with text messaging and the fact that people are using that for business, which means that it could put you at risk. For instance, you do not want to treat text campaigns like you do email. Do not send your customer list a text message every other day or once a week unless you really want to irritate them and make them upset, which I am guessing that nobody here wants to do. Nobody wants to get a text message from a business once a week. All right, I don't care how much they love you and your business, that is not what they want. So you have to be very strategic and very careful with text campaigns. Well, on our end, what we typically do, if you guys are looking to build something like this for yourself, what we normally like to do is a seasonal offer. So we don't want one customer getting more than one text message every 3 months. Okay, and that's been the sweet spot for us. Granted, you're still going to have some customers that from the first text message, they're going to opt out. Guys, that's okay, and that's perfectly normal. You want to give them an option because you do not want to send text messages just like email where you have a link where they can unsubscribe. You need to give them an option to opt out of the messaging, and you want to do that. Because if your customer does not want that kind of messaging, we want to know about it and we want to stop sending it to them to avoid any irritation for the customer. Okay? So that's the downside. The disadvantage of text is it is a little bit more direct, a little bit more personal. So some people don't really want to see business through text message and their cell phone. All right? However, as the trend continues and they're starting to get more and more comfortable with this, we're seeing over time that a lot more people are now open to it or expect it. Okay? So if you do it correctly, in my opinion, text is very powerful. I've spoken about it in a couple other videos, and it is something that is extremely useful if you guys are looking to drive repeat business and want to get in front of your customer with a call to action. Just make sure that it's done properly. The cool thing is you can do both. All right. So you don't have to pick one or the other. You can have your database and have emails going out to them for awareness, right? And then you could also have the seasonal text message that goes out with a call to action and offer. All right. So now you're kind of doing a little bit of both. You're still garnering that awareness where they're seeing your company, they're seeing what you've been up to. Maybe you give them an update on anything new to your business. This could be a wide variety of things, whether perhaps you guys volunteered locally. Perhaps you're just keeping them up to date on some jobs you recently completed or employees. It could be all kinds of different things, guys. Just get creative when it comes to that. So those are emails that would go out that don't have a call to action, right? It's just awareness that you're just getting your brand, your company in front of them on a small basis, time and time again. With the text, I would use that for the call to action, all right? So I would be letting them know about a special for previous customers going on for the summer or for the fall and the winter, so on and so forth, all right? And ideally, having both is the best bet if you can put that together. If you're looking to pick between one and the other, say you're crunched for time or you really don't know how to put all this together, I would definitely prioritize text messaging. Just make sure that you're doing it strategically and in the right way. Another thing about text and email and the comparison between the two is usually with email, you could do drip campaigns, which essentially what a drip campaign is it takes a list and then it just breaks it down into daily sending. And that's actually probably pretty good for email because if you send all at once, it can be very tricky, and that's where you start to get flagged and can start landing in people's spam folder, right? Which you don't want. Then it's going to be useless. It's not going to do any good for you. Nobody checks their spam folder, all right? Well, with text, you kind of want to treat that the same, but for a different reason. So when you're sending out text messages, yes, if you really wanted to, if you have a list of 300 customers or 500 or 1,000 or 2,000, whatever the case may be, 5,000 plus, we've seen all kinds of lists at this point. The larger your list, the less likely you are going to want to send it all at once, all right? And I'll tell you why. It's best for you to drip it just like the email, not because of issues in sending. The texts are going to send. The issue is that these are customers of yours, and you want to take care of them. And the risk that you take by sending it all at once is, let's say you do have a pretty large list, you're going to have a lot of people that come back in who want to book. They're going to respond to you, and they're going to want to book. And if you send it all at once, you put yourself in a position where you may not be able to service all those people in a reasonable amount of time, which then could have a negative effect where perhaps you had a customer who really wanted to do business with you again. You can't even get them in the schedule within the next week. That could be a bad look for you. So my suggestion is if you're going to go that route, And what we do with it is we'll take it and we'll drip that campaign. So we'll break it into daily chunks. And I like that for two reasons. Number one, because we don't create chaos and overwhelm the system or break it by having too many people respond at once and then we can't get them on the schedule. And number two, it kind of builds a machine for us that is working on a daily basis. So it spreads it out to where we're getting these messages they're sending every day. The customer expects that. And it gives us our own little revenue stream automated for us to get in front of the customers on a consistent basis, yet doesn't put us at risk of having too much at once and not being able to schedule somebody in a reasonable fashion. So that about wraps it up. I hope that was helpful for you guys. That's kind of some of the basic differences between email marketing and text marketing. I do think both are effective. I've obviously given you guys my priority between the two, but realistically, if you could build both, they'll kind of do different things for you. Use email for more awareness and just getting your brand in front of them and giving them updates. And then use text for that true call to action where you want them to book with you again or take the next step on something. So I hope this helps you guys. Once again, Blake from Top Dollar Digital Solutions. If you haven't already, click the subscribe button. We would love to have you on here. Going to keep driving as much value and content to you as possible to help you grow your drunk removal business. And if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. Thanks.